The divorce papers trembled slightly in my hand as I watched my husband's face, not from sorrow or regret, but from the effort it took not to smile. "So, you're really leaving?" James asked, eyebrows raised in mock concern, while his fingers intertwined with those of Rachel, his mistress. She sat beside him on my designer sofa, the one I had saved months to afford. "I'm taking all my personal belongings with me," I said evenly, setting the papers down on the coffee table between us. "Just so we're clear." Rachel's eyes roamed the living room, lingering on the custom lighting fixtures, the artfully arranged furniture, the carefully chosen decor that transformed this once dated house into something out of a magazine spread. "This place is perfect," she sighed, tracing her hand along the velvet armrest. "Exactly what I've always wanted." "Your old clothes and whatever else you want, take them," I said. "They just remind me of our miserable time together." I nodded slowly, not bothering to correct his assumption. "The movers will be here tomorrow. Remember, no division of property. My name is Lauren. I'm 29, an interior designer. And this is the story of how I left behind more than just a house. 3 years ago I married James, believing we were true partners. He was 34, worked in construction management, and had inherited his grandparents' house shortly before we met. The place was solid, but hadn't been updated since the 1980s. Beige walls, scuffed laminate floors, furniture that looked like cast-offs from Friends or discount stores. When we married, I saw potential. With my design expertise and savings, I transformed that house into something special. Every piece was carefully chosen. Mid-century modern furniture that complemented the structure, statement lighting to draw the eye upward, custom window treatments to frame the views. I documented every purchase, partly out of professional habit, partly because I'd learned early on that James was careless with money. That financial carelessness reflected in our relationship. Dishes left in the sink despite our agreement to share chores, dismissive comments about my obsession with aesthetics, complaints about the meals I worked hard to prepare after long days. Yet I kept trying, believing marriage was about compromise. What I couldn't ignore was the discovery of his texts to Rachel 6 months prior. She was 25, a temp at his office with an Instagram feed full of aspirational decor she couldn't afford. Their messages made it clear what had drawn her to him. His taste, his supposed success. "James has such amazing taste," she wrote to a friend. "His wife just works all the time and doesn't appreciate what he's built." I saved screenshots, messages, dinner dates, hotel receipts, not to confront him immediately but to confirm what I suspected. I needed certainty before my next move. When I finally reached out to Rachel suggesting we meet to talk, she seemed more excited than ashamed. She arrived at my house dressed for the occasion, her outfit more expensive than her weekly paycheck. "I just want you to know," she said, leaning forward with practiced sympathy, "I never meant to hurt you. But when two people connect the way James and I have, let's just get this over with." I slid the divorce papers across the table. James and I had agreed before marriage. No division of property. Rachel's eyes lit up and she squeezed his hand. "See? I told you she'd be reasonable." James nodded, relief evident in his posture. "Lauren has always been practical," he added, accidentally calling me by the wrong name, something he'd been doing for months. Suddenly Rachel stood. "Let me show you around," she said. "I have so many ideas for this place." I watched silently as she wandered through my carefully curated rooms, her fingers trailing over surfaces, imagining her own touch replacing mine. "These light fixtures are amazing. And this dining table, custom, right?" she asked. "Yes," I replied. Everything here was chosen to enhance the space. "Perfect," she sighed. "I wouldn't change a thing." James chimed in confidently, "You won't have to. Lauren's just taking her clothes and personal stuff, right?" I nodded again. "No need to clarify further." The movers would arrive at 9 a.m. the next day. That night, I stayed in the guest room, listening to their whispered conversations and occasional laughter from my old bedroom. Sleep eluded me as I reviewed my inventory list one last time, making sure nothing was overlooked. The next morning, the movers arrived precisely at 9 a.m., 2 large trucks and 6 workers. I had hired the best in the city, the same team I often worked with in my design. As I watched my home being empty, I realized I was leaving behind more than just furniture and decor. I was reclaiming my life. "Morning, Miss Turner," the foreman called out as he approached. We've got the inventory list you sent over. Looks like a busy day ahead. James and Rachel emerged from the bedroom, still in their robes, their faces clouded with annoyance at the commotion. Why are there 2 trucks? Rachel asked, frowning as workers carefully removed artwork from the living room. How many clothes do you have? I didn't reply. Instead, I handed the foreman my tablet, displaying the detailed inventory list. The workers moved efficiently, wrapping furniture in protective blankets, delicately detaching light fixtures, even removing the custom window treatments I'd installed. It took about 20 minutes for James to realize what was happening. What the hell? He shouted, rushing toward the workers as they dismantled the sectional sofa. Stop. That's my couch. I handed him a folder. Here are the receipts. Every piece of furniture, appliance, light fixture and decor, purchased by me after we married with my money. His face paled as he flipped through the pages. You can't. We've been using these things for years. Usage doesn't transfer ownership, I replied calmly. We agreed on that. No division of property. Rachel's voice rose almost to a scream. You're taking everything? Not the house, I clarified. That belongs to James. I'm only taking what's inside. By noon, the living room was empty aside from the built-in shelves. By 2 p.m., the kitchen contained only the cabinets and countertops. By 4 p.m., even the curtain rods had disappeared. James alternated between pleading and threatening. You'll regret this, he hissed as the workers carefully packed up the surround sound system. I'll sue you, he added. On what grounds? I asked quietly. We agreed in writing. No division of property. You keep what's yours, I keep what's mine. As the last truck was being loaded, a small panel van pulled up. 2 men in coveralls approached. Mrs. Turner, we're here for the wallpaper removal, one announced. Rachel, who'd been sitting silently on the floor since the chairs vanished, looked up in horror. The wallpaper is custom printed, I explained. Designed specifically for this house. Cost nearly $8,000. My company. You can't take the walls, James shouted. Not the walls, I corrected. Just what's on them. I left my personal belongings behind in an empty house, now stripped of the carefully curated touches I added. Bare walls. Exposed outlets where my designer sconces once hung. The house looked older, more neglected without my touch, flaws now visible in the absence of distraction. 2 weeks later James called. His voice lacked the confidence that once attracted me. Lauren, please, he began. Rachel left. She said she couldn't live like this. We need your help. Us? I asked, though I already knew. I meant I need your help, he admitted. I was wrong about everything. About us, about Rachel, about the house. He sighed. I didn't realize how much effort you put into making it beautiful. Rachel kept complaining, said the furniture looked terrible, that she didn't sign up to live in a dorm room. That sounds difficult, I said, feeling nothing. Could you consider coming back? Or at least help me make this place livable again? I thought about the furniture now arranged in my new apartment. Most of it sold because I'd already moved on. The proceeds funded a complete renovation with pieces that reflected who I'd become. I'm afraid that's not possible, I replied. But I wish you luck with your decorating. I hung up before he could respond and blocked his number. The divorce had been finalized a week earlier, officially ending our marriage. Some spaces once emptied are better left that way. Before you go, here's a little bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you should try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. Access over 500,000 titles at no cost. All the details are in the link. Don't miss out.